A couple of days ago, NIO management had a year-end event in Shanghai, and NIO CEO William Li had some very surprising announcement, from the claims that NIO deliveries will double in the next year, like double, like 100% growth, to the claims that NIO will dump NVIDIA chips in their cars and switch to their own. From addressing cannibalization claims to claiming that this December will be a record-breaking month for NIO. Yes, this December, the one we are in right now. So let's try to summarize everything that was being said. Let's try to figure out if all the claims can be possible for 2025 and figure out if it all will happen, what will be NIO stock price by the end of the year. Hey there and welcome to the Market Monkeys channel. My name is Vadim and today we're talking about NIO and their prospects for 2025. So first of all, let's understand the claim that NIO will double their deliveries in 2025, because it's kinda ridiculous. The last time NIO had doubled anything, and we're not talking about deliveries, we're talking about revenues, the year was 2021. And then NIO doubled their deliveries from $2.49 billion to 5.68. Now, NIO right now is a much bigger company, and the claim that they will double their deliveries, so almost double their revenue, I guess, it's a big one. So let's try to break down and see how they're going to achieve these deliveries. Now, Lee said that the company expects sales of NIO main brand, so NIO, to grow moderately. He didn't explain what moderately actually means, but let's assume kinda in 10-20% range. Now, he claimed that the ONVO sub-brand will achieve around 200,000 vehicle deliveries by the end of 2025. Now, this is a huge deal. This is pretty much in the territory of what NIO is delivering right now for all of their vehicles, and he claims that the new brand that started production only in September will achieve that by the end of next year. By the way, for the upcoming Firefly brand, the management didn't provide any numbers and said that they expect sales in thousands of units per month. Now, let's see if we can have a surprise by the end of this year, the 2024. Now, in the last earnings call, NIO management claimed that they are expecting deliveries between 72 to 75,000 units, meaning that they are expecting 2024 deliveries to be in range of 221 to 224,000 units. Now, we already have numbers for October and we already have numbers for November. So quick calculation, and in December, NIO needs to deliver around 30,449 vehicles to actually achieve this goal. Now, NIO CEO claimed that from December 1st to December 11th, NIO has received the highest number of locked-in orders for the same period in the past 6 months. So it's very possible that December will be a record-breaking month for NIO and the stock will actually gain something out of it. Now, before you run and buy a bunch of NIO stock, I have a huge warnings for people who started investing in this year or a couple years ago. December is a very tricky month. In December, two things happen. First of all, tax harvesting, which means that people who have losses on their books in their portfolios sell their stocks to harvest some taxes. And this means that companies who did not perform well over the year, they're getting dumped. And the prices are actually going down. Second thing is hedge funds. Now, hedge funds by the end of the year need to create something which is called Form 13F. Form 13F means that they have to disclose all of their positions. Hedge funds hate to disclose that they have on their books bad position, which actually lost them money. That's why, for example, a couple of quarters ago, Intel was dumped so much because nobody wanted to admit that they had a company which dropped 50%. Now, NIO did not drop 50% this year, but I think some hedge funds will not want to show people that they have NIO on their books because NIO did not do well this year. Let's be honest. So be very cautious about buying in December, expecting that the stock will rise by the end of January. By the way, if you find this information valuable or interesting, put a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and by the way, you can become a member of this channel in the membership section, and also we have a super thanks. Now let's talk about ONVO. So for ONVO sub-brand, right now they're starting to ramp up the production. And William Li claimed that ONVO sub-brand will achieve deliveries of 20,000 units in March 2025. Now, here is something I don't really understand, because William Lee, either he tried to address the cannibalization claims or tried to explain something, but he said something very weird in his press conference. He said that due to the long waiting time for L60, the ONVO brand, some customers have opted for NIO models in ONVO stores. And he said that ONVO sales team sold between 200 and 300 cars of NIO brand to people who originally wanted to buy ONVO. Now, this is a very weird claim. So he claimed that some people came into the stores. Usually if you go to a store to buy a car, you know which car you want to buy. And when they heard that the waiting period for the car is between 8 to 10 weeks, they decided to buy much more expensive car. Now, I don't really believe these claims, and I also do not believe his claim that the cannibalization is only 2%. And if you want to know why, Julia here has a whole video where she explains what the cannibalization is according to her calculation. She did this video like a month ago, maybe a bit less, so you can press here and go and check it out. By the way, regarding long waiting time, so this is not an official information. I just saw some commenters from China who said that if you go to ONVO stores to buy a car, yes, if you want it fully customized, if you want to pick a color according to your choosing or do something weird with the car, yes, you will wait between 6 to 10 weeks. But if you want just a classic car which you can pick up, you can pick it up in 2-3 days. So there is no such a long waiting time. If you are from China, by the way, can you please write in the comments, is it true? Can you just go to the NIO store and pick up car from there on the next day? Now, we also got news that the ONVO brand will launch 2 additional models in 2025 with deliveries starting in 3rd and 4th quarter of next year. And overall, we got some news that the whole ONVO product line will not be as big as NIO. They will maximum have between 4 and 5 cars. This is the good and the bad news for the company. Now, the bad news is that each new model which they are releasing and starting to sell, they need money to ramp up the production of this model. The good news is a lot of expenses that they have right now, they can split between different models and different brands, and so the gross margin on each car will be higher. Now, we also have some news on the new plant, which NIO talked about for last couple of years, the F3 plant. Lee said that F3 plant should be operational in the 3rd or 4th quarter of 2025, and the plant will be able to handle a deliveries of 100,000 cars per year. Okay, now that we've done with NIO news, let's go to the stock and to valuation of NIO. And we need to address a couple of things. First of all, let's talk about margins. On this press conference, William Lee said that the company is planning to address the margins issue, that NIO actually has pretty low margins. And the way he did it was weird. He said that switching from NVIDIA chips in NIO cars to their own that NIO produced will save the company about 10,000 yuan per car. Now, there was a claim at the end of 2023 that NIO decided to dump NVIDIA chips and switch to the chips that they produce on their own. It was so weird that people actually did not take it seriously because, there is no way NIO can produce chips better than what NVIDIA does. And they claim their chips working 4 times faster than NVIDIA's and actually cheaper. Well, if they can do chips so good, they should stop producing cars and actually go and do chips and become the next NVIDIA. But never mind, I actually checked out, US does not have any sanctions on NIO. So they can actually go to Taiwan Semiconductors or to Samsung foundries and order some chips there. So the claim that they're producing these chips is not really accurate, but never mind. Now, I have to say, overall, all of these news, this press conference, all these claims about doubling the deliveries next year, seeing different data on cannibalization issues, the claims that they can make chips better than NVIDIA, all of this together does not inspire investors to actually trust the management of the company. Last time we did video on NIO, People warned us about the CEO of NIO and all the bullshit claims that he makes, and we didn't really understand what people were talking about. Now we know. Thank you guys for letting us know. Now let's try to estimate what the company will be worth in 2025. Now, to our advantage, if we're looking at price to sales of NIO, price to sales is 1, like 0.99. And what's nice about that is that this is exactly the median price to sales for the whole sector. Like NIO is priced exactly as a median for the whole sector. So that makes our job in valuing NIO, and of course we're not doing here some fancy DCF valuation, we're just quickly trying to figure out what the stock can be. If they can achieve doubling their revenues in the next year, well, their price logically would double as well and be around $9 per share. But here we need to actually stop and think for a second. NIO is the money-losing company. And the question is, will they have enough cash for 2025 to actually not issue more shares and not to dilute their stock? Now, I have to say there is no right answer. I read some research where analysts were saying that they will definitely issue more shares or raise some debt in the next year, but I have seen some research where the claim was the opposite, and I have to say, right now NIO has around $5.3 billion in cash. Every quarter they burn around $700 million, so it looks like it will suffice for the next year, and I have to remind you that NIO management claimed that the company will be profitable in 2026. Now, the bad news is for this $5.3 billion in cash, NIO actually have $4.8 billion in debt. So net cash for NIO is actually only $600 million. So the question remains open. You need to take this risk on yourself if you're investing in NIO that the company can possibly go and raise some money next year. I think it would happen if the stock will jump suddenly to above $7-8 per share. Now, analyst expectations are pretty bad for NIO, let's be honest. Citi maintained their buy rating, but this is the only piece of good news there is. Goldman Sachs and Macquarie actually downgraded NIO, with Goldman having the price target of 3.8 for the company. The average price target for the company is still 6.4, which is much higher than it is right now, with the highest estimation being around $12.5 per share. Now, I have decided for myself that I want to give NIO a chance and actually go and invest a small portion of my portfolio in this company. But first of all, I want to take it at a very, very low price. So I'm waiting for $4 per share because NIO is trading in this range between 3.6 to about $8, so I want to catch it at around 4. Second of all, I will not be buying NIO shares because I don't want to hold this company for a long term. I want to take a bet that this company will have a breakout and the stock will suddenly rise. So I will be buying a call options for, I think, something like a year and a half expiry, and I will hope that the stock price will jump to about $6.5 in this time range. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this strategy? What is your strategy about NIO stock? Are you holding calls? Are you holding stock for long term? And what is your target selling price? Hopefully this was interesting and informative for you. If it was, press a like button, subscribe to our channel, become a member of our channel, and we will see you next time. Take care.